Supervillains are awesome, undeniably. I mean, the cool suits, the serious tones, the fact that they never really blink, they got a lot of cool stuff going on, you know? Some villains train others and pass on their legacy, while other villains just have a kid, then their powers are just there. What's going on, top 10 nerd family, and welcome back. Here to list a few of these bad apples, I'm Taylor McWatters, and here are the top 10 children of supervillains, spoilers included. Number 10, Harry Osborn. Jealousy can go a long way. I mean, if your best friend got superpowers, would you not be the most jealous person on the planet? I mean, not only would I beg them for their powers, but I would probably end up resenting them. Like if my best friend was Spider-Man, yeah, I'm gonna be pretty upset every time I have to take a bus. Making his first appearance in The Amazing Spider-Man 31, Harry Osborn is Peter Parker's best friend. Played by James Franco in the Sam Raimi trilogy and Dane DeHaan in the Garfield Almost trilogy, this comic book character is one of my favorites to watch. So while Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, who is Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe, his dad, they'd go head to head and fight. Peter Parker is also best friends with Harry Osborn, his son. So we got a little triangle of emotions there. So eventually Harry found out about his best friend's alter ego and became a madman, especially after Spider-Man killed his dad. Hello? Let's go. He also knows Peter Parker takes pics of Spider-Man, so he asks him to help with a plan. That plan didn't go well once he found out his worst enemy is also his best friend. So, donning his father's suit and becoming the next Green Goblin. Looking back at James Franco's performance as Harry Osborn, like sure there were cringe moments, but overall this guy did a pretty good job with the character development over 3 films. This guy lasted 3 films. He even had some unreal like buddy cop moments with Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3. Plus we got 3 movies with that James Franco stank guy, you know? Oh, he's so good. Then of course Dane DeHaan played him in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and his plan to hurt Peter's love interest worked a bit better, I'd say. Which Green Goblin did you prefer? I mean, let us know in the comments. Also, side question, who's your dream cast for Harry Osborn in the MCU right now? I feel like Timothée Chalamet is gonna get casted. He's a young age, he looks good, he looks cute, but he's kind of villainous. I feel like it's the perfect time for him to get thrown into the MCU. Number 9, Quicksilver. If you've seen the movie Kick-Ass recently, you may have noticed that 2 of the main characters, Dave and Todd, both ended up playing Quicksilver on screen. So Aaron Taylor Johnston played him in the MCU and Evan Peters played him in the X-Men universe. Quicksilver, aka Pedro Maximoff, is a speedster who made his first debut all the way back in 1964 in X-Men issue number 4. He's the twin of Wanda Maximoff and the son of Magneto. In X-Men Apocalypse, he casually reveals this information to Mystique, where she promptly responds with,
"What?
What? Yeah, that's a pretty good response. He goes on to explain how he met him 10 years prior, but he didn't know at the time. And now of course Marvel didn't have the rights to all of these Fox characters, so his story is a little different. Aaron Taylor Johnston's version of the Quicksilver character got his powers from the Scepter, aka the Mind Stone. Same with Wanda, they're the miracles, not mutants. Different M. See, I thought that Evan Peters' version was honestly wasted. I mean, the fact that he explains how badly he feels for being the fastest person ever, yet he's always late to these big, crucial life moments. These character arcs were really going somewhere, and by the time we got to Dark Phoenix, and it just, it just didn't matter. I think they wasted a lot of potential. Even Quicksilver's scenes were the staples in those movies. Like as soon as you saw that Bumblebee start to slow down in X-Men Apocalypse, you already knew what was about to happen. And it was epic. It's probably the only scene that I will see. I see it on YouTube every now and then and I'm like, you know what? I gotta watch this. It's too good. I'm hoping to see him come back in Disney Plus's WandaVision. Fingers crossed, guys. Let's do it. Number 8, Talia Al Ghul. As you would have guessed just by her name, Talia Al Ghul is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. She made her first appearance in Detective Comics issue 411 and also played a main role in Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy in Dark Knight Rises, played by Marion Cotillard. This chick's pretty bad. I mean, Talia is the daughter of Melisandre and Ra's al Ghul, and after witnessing her mother being murdered by Quicken, she began to follow her villainous father's footsteps, learning more and more about the family business. Now, eventually becoming Ra's al Ghul's primary heir. At the end of Dark Knight Rises, we see a nice Nolan little character twist, where Miranda reveals her true identity. Now in the comics it's quite fun as well. See, Batman rescues her from Dr. Dark, in her first issue actually, and Dr. Dark had actually once been a member of her father's League of Assassins. Interesting. Ra's al Ghul informed Batman that her and Robin had been kidnapped, so Batman goes in, of course, to save the day. Then he finds out it's all this big setup by Ra's al Ghul to see if he was good enough to take his daughter's hand in marriage. I feel like Tinder works a bit easier, you know? know? I mean, just type in your preferences. It's not, must have a cape, must be afraid of bats. No parents, no problem, super swipe. She's also the mother of Damian Wayne, but I'll save that story for another time. Number 7, Carnage. That's right, making its first appearance in the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 359, Carnage is a symbiote that is the offspring of Venom. Yeah, talk about a crazy kid. You think kids running around the mall crying is bad? Imagine the son of Venom. Wild stuff. So his host is none other than Cletus Cassidy. Cletus was sharing the same prison cell as Eddie Brock in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 344. So Cletus is hanging out, just carving a shank, kicking back, doing his thing. And at the same time, he was planning on stabbing Eddie Brock. Being a murderer and all, that's what they, do. So the Venom symbiote then comes in to save the day. So after Brock is reunited with that goopy fun, a small little piece of it attaches itself to Cletus, thus becoming Carnage. See, Carnage is a scary offspring of Venom, and probably the scariest of the Clintar. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this angry boy in Venom, let there be Carnage. I wasn't a fan of Venom that much, but this crazy redhead is too fun to ignore. He's probably gonna kill it in the next one. Who's gonna make it, Spider-Man 1? Cool. Spider-Man 2, oh my god, way better. And also, we better get an R rating or I'm gonna kick somebody in the shins. The crazy offspring of Venom is being portrayed by Woody Harrelson, thank god, because he's amazing. And if you haven't seen the new Planet of the Apes trilogy, he's the human antagonist of the third one, and it's so good. He does a bang up job. I've always felt like Michael C. Hall would do a good job too, ever since Dexter. I'm telling you. Number 7, Rose Wilson. Rose Wilson is the daughter of Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, making her first appearance in Deathstroke the Terminator, issue 15. So after Deathstroke met Sweet Lily after his divorce with Adeline Kane, they ended up having a baby together. How lovely. Nothing more romantic than trekking to Thailand on a search and rescue mission, Applebee's? Nah, it's not good enough. Not romantic enough, Applebee's, get out of here. So Slade's half-brother, Wade, Wade Wilson, it's a whole thing, I know. So Slade, using his persona, Ravager, tried killing all of Slade's friends and family. Not cool, dude. So after Sweet Lily drove off a cliff and died, Rose reached out to her father, Slade, but he wasn't on board. He felt like he was responsible for the death of 2 of his sons, so naturally, he's like, nah, get away from me, you don't want any part of this. So she ended up joining the Titans. After being injured from a training exercise, she had her first experience with her precognitive powers, seeing a vision of Deathstroke's future. This next part is insane. So Deathstroke hired Ravager, the same guy who attacked his family, to go and kill Rose for $100,000. That's not even that much either. Higher. Negotiate. Then he alerted the Titans anonymously, and after barely escaping, Rose woke up in Deathstroke's lair, where he apologized to Rose for abandoning her at a young age. Going out for ice cream would have sufficed, but hiring assassins to kill you works just as well. Whatever you prefer. Tomatoes, tomatoes, to each their own. Have at her. Number 6, Loki. Arguably one of the best characters of the MCU, Loki is the adoptive son of Odin. But who are his real parents? Loki Laufeyson, yes, that's his real name, has a little tongue twister in it, is the son of the frost giant, Laufey. He was left as a baby, abandoned in his home world, Jotunheim. During a battle, Odin had found his lost child and took him in as his own. We see this in the first Thor movie back in 2011. When Loki finds out that his motives are peddled by being the offspring of an evil frost giant, he gets a little upset. He always felt different growing up, and often looked down on Thor as he got the most attention growing up, being Odin's true son. Odin had chosen not to tell Loki of his true heritage and raise him as one of his own, being a nice guy and all. But with evil powers comes evil responsibility, and Loki ended up becoming the villain a year later in the 2012 Avengers film. See, I favored Loki's storyline more than half of the main Avengers. The adoptive thing wasn't taken lightly at all, and Tom Hiddleston did an amazing job showing these moments of weakness and anger to Odin. He met his demise in Infinity War, we think, but we have this whole Disney Plus show titled Loki coming out soon, so I feel like the God of Mischief isn't quite done with us yet, thankfully. Number 5, Alexi Kravinoff. Son of Kraven the Hunter, Alexi is just as capable of killing the Webhead. Making his first appearance in the Spectacular Spider-Man issue 243, Alexi is a son of Kraven the Hunter and a mutant woman. So Alexi has his father's powers, but he also has powers that allowed him to talk to animals, passed down from his mutant mother. I've always wanted that power too. The amount of times I've had to take on raccoons with like a hockey stick, can you guys just leave, please? It'd be so much easier if I could just... and then they leave. That's it, no problems. He's also known as the second Kraven the Hunter, obviously. And there's even talks of Jason Momoa playing Kraven the Hunter in the next live-action Spider-Man movie for the MCU. And with Jamie Foxx just being announced to reprise his role as Electro, we could potentially see Kraven join in to complete the Sinister Six lineup, which is something we almost got in the Amazing Spider-Man Almost trilogy. So it may finally be happening, people. Hold on to your butts. And if he's defeated, we always know that his son will just come in and be Kraven the Hunter 2.0. Good to know. Number 4, Thane. remember that guy from Infinity War? His name was Thanos. Kind of a big deal, had a gauntlet, loved snapping his fingers, maybe he watched a lot of West Side Story, I don't know. Yeah, he has a son named Thane. He's the outcome when you mix Thanos with an Inhuman. He made his first appearance in the New Avengers Volume 3, Issue 10, also referred to as Living Death. Thane is quite the descendant. His powers are so strong that he needed Ebony Maw, aka Squidward, to make him a containment suit. Without the suit, his powers were very unstable. I mean, this guy goes to work. He once trapped Thanos and Proxima Midnight in an amber construct by using just his right hand. My right hand is really weak, especially today. I have morning hands still, you know, where you just can't open anything. It's just a weak day. Yeah, morning hands. You're welcome for that. So after seeing that, Ebony Maw's like, hey man, let's just chill. I can discipline you. You'll be a good guy. Don't listen to your dad. He's kind of a dick. Number 3, Cynthia Schmidt. First appearing in Captain America issue 290, she's the daughter of Red Skull. That's right, the villain in Captain America, the first Avenger. So Red Skull realized he needs a male heir and went out, found himself a washerwoman, and went about it. After the mother had died during childbirth, Red Skull, better known as Johann Schmidt, almost killed the child because it had been a girl and not a boy. What a monster. So Susan Scarborough was like, hey, that's just a bit wild. Maybe let's not do that. I'll raise her. What do you say? And he agreed. So the Red Skull passed on his wisdom through Susan. He came back as she was a child and put her in a machine that sped up her aging process, making her an adult and giving her her superpowers, thus becoming Mother Superior, the leader of the Sisters of Sin. My favorite part of all this, one time Captain America was put in this machine and became super old. And then when he used the machine to revert back to regular age, he took the sisters with him so that they also de-aged. And I honestly think we're gonna see some sort of version of this in the MCU now with Scott Lang's van. I mean, sure, they failed at making a time machine, but they also accidentally created this aging machine or de-aging machine. So like, can we throw Cap back in there and just get him to sign some more movie contracts? Cause I feel like we're not done with Chris Evans yet. And number 2, Starlord. Of course, I have to include him in this list as he found out who his real father was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yep, I said spoilers earlier, you were warned. After the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 unfolded, Peter Quill, aka Starlord, was able to hold an Infinity Stone with his bare hands. And this didn't go unnoticed. Even groups of beings in the past have been trying to be able to maintain that power, and they failed. Even connecting themselves to share it, it didn't work. It's a power stone, it's way too powerful. His real father turned out to be not David Hasselhoff, but Ego, the living planet. Peter Quill's powers were explained to him by his father, played by Kurt Russell, and soon after we got to see them playing catch, and it was insanely awkward and funny. Ego turned out to be not a nice guy. Killing Ego meant saying goodbye to his father's powers that were handed down to him, these celestial powers. But that wasn't a problem for Starlord. I mean, it sure would have helped beat Thanos, but I'm sure he would have just messed that plan up too. Moody man. And finally, number 1, Vision. Yep, hear me out, okay? So in Avengers Age of Ultron, we find the twins, one of which I was talking about earlier, Pietro, aka Quicksilver, and the other, Wanda, aka Scarlet Witch. Their powers are given to them not by Magneto in this world, but one of the Infinity Stones, the Mind Stone. After Ultron is accidentally created, he has one idea, to have a kid, make a new body, you know, pass it on. So after being created by Stark, Ultron was born with the same goals almost. So he figured if he took some vibranium and mixed it with that same stone that gave him life, he could make an unbelievable new body, a stronger body. And he nearly succeeds. That is until Tony Stark and the gang comes in, gets the Scepter, and thinks, you know what, why not finish the mission? So they plug the dude in and they finish the download. Now we have Vision. And the rest of the Avengers aren't too fond of this idea, as it's a stronger version of Ultron, and that dude's in the air right now trying to blast the, you know, he's not nice. If at first you don't succeed, just try it again, you know? So Vision pops out, starts questioning his existence the same way his original creator, Ultron, did. The team carefully walks around him, and it isn't until Vision lifts Thor's hammer until they trust him. So Vision floats up to Ultron in the final battle, and Ultron says to him, "My vision." That's his baby, and now he has a cape and he sounds like Paul Bettany. What's going on? Are you guys looking forward to seeing Vision somehow make a return in WandaVision on Disney+? Let us know down below how you think he's coming back, because we have a couple ideas cooking over here. Well, there you have it, guys. Look, we know we missed a lot, so of course comment down below which ones were your favorites so we can check them out as well. And as always, thanks for nerding out with us, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell so we can tell you every time a new video is dropping. I'm Talia McWatters. See you next time. Later, skaters. Let's go, nerds. Nerdos. All right. Hopefully this jacket isn't too loud. It's ASMR guy who's late edition. All right. I look like a b-boy from like the 90s. I'm like, what's that, man? You want a dance battle? Let's do it, Harry Osborn. Neck cracking noises. She breaks her neck. She gets her neck messed up in the movie. Question. I don't know why I said it like that. So after seeing that Ebony Maw is like, man, just chill, I'll discipline you. Yeah, I was gonna say, someone's getting there. Got a Transformer fight going on downstairs. Buddy, it's all weak, you're like, come on, just open.